Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Selena Benavides. Today I'm going to be sharing how to support your children during COVID. We're in an unprecedented time in history and it's creating a lot of stress for parents and families. And many parents are wondering how can they best support their children at home in navigating this stressful period of time. So today I'll be sharing 5 strategies to help you support your children during COVID. The first thing I want to talk about are routines. We know that children thrive when there is structure because it helps them better manage their stress and know what to anticipate. And with so much chaos and uncertainty happening right now, the more routines that we can set in place for children, the better. This might mean having the same meal time each day or the same bedtime routine for children. And with my daughter, I also like to give her reminders before we transition from one activity to the next. So for example, if we're in the middle of doing an art project together, I will let her know, okay, 5 minutes, we're gonna be cleaning up. Okay, we have 1 minute left before we clean up. Okay, now it's time to clean up. Or I might even lay out the next 3 things that we're going to do together. For example, I could say, we're going to read some books together, then we'll brush our teeth, and then I'll tuck you into bed. These kind of things will really help children transition well from one activity to the next, and it can even prevent meltdowns with younger children. In addition to routines, another thing that we can do to reduce stress is maintaining social connections. And with physical distancing and sheltering in place, it's made it really difficult to have these social connections with our close friends and family, but there are ways that we can get creative to get around this. So for example, it might mean setting up a regular time each week that you can do a video call or a phone call with family and friends. Or with your supervision, you can have your child do a recording of themselves and send it out to family. And something that my 2-year-old likes to do is recording audio messages, and then we send that out to different friends and family throughout the day. And even the act of doing these recordings together is something that's a fun activity that we can do. We also want to think about our children's emotional well-being. Like adults, children are feeling a lot of complex emotions during the pandemic. They may not be fully aware of what is occurring, but they can pick up on their caregiver's stress, which can lead them to feeling stressed or anxious themselves. So some things that we want to do is help children better regulate their emotions. And that means we want to remember ART, which is acknowledge, reassure, and take a breath. So if you see a child and they're starting to cry or get upset, you might tell them, I see that you're upset right now. It's okay to feel frustrated. Let's take some deep breaths together. And the act of doing some deep breathing can really help calm a child that's feeling stressed or anxious. Another thing that's really important is physical movement. Whether we're in a global pandemic or not, we know that play and physical exercise are really important for our well-being. So to help us with those pent-up emotions that we may be feeling, we want to engage in movement as much as possible. And for children, we know this helps strengthen gross motor skills, as well as gives them an outlet for their feelings. So if you're outside, some things that you can do are some brisk walks or bike rides. And if you're unable to go outdoors safely, you can even create obstacle courses in the house using pillows, blankets, and other objects you may have laying around. And even the process of creating the obstacle course is kind of a fun activity for children to get creative, as well as completing the course and having fun and letting out their energy. The last thing I want to talk about is self-care. And I know, as a parent, it's hard to do, especially because we feel our time is limited and we're stressed. But the more we take care of ourselves, the more present we can be with our children and more in tune we can be with our children. So self-care is a really important thing to take time to do. Some self-care things that you can engage in are maybe meditating, taking a bubble bath that's uninterrupted, reading a book, going for a walk on your own, listening to music, or anything that might make you feel more relaxed and in control of the situation. Another thing that I also want to share is that sometimes if we think in advance of stressful situations that we may have at work or a stressful situation that we're experiencing with our child, if we think about it in advance and plan out how we'll handle it, it can help manage those anxious thoughts. So even though it's difficult, engaging in self-care is really important. And if you need to, feel free to reach out to family members or loved ones to talk through what you're experiencing, ask for help, and you can also reach out to outside support as well to get extra assistance as needed. Thanks for listening to these 5 strategies to support your children during COVID. Make sure you subscribe to be notified of future videos.